day, BSTM 3204. Today we will be discussing all about Rizal as a reformist and a revolution, together with my group mates, Ms. Lardizabal, Ms. Colinayo, and Mr. Escares. For the learning objectives, we will be discussing the ideals and advocacies of Rizal for the Philippines and the Filipino. We will also assess if Rizal was a reformist or revolutionary. For the learning objectives, we will be discussing the ideals and advocacies. The concept of truth, justice, freedom, love, equality, and peace are enshrined in the Philippine Constitution. So the concept are considered as the universal principles so that all groups of people in different nations have ways to give them an effect and also to give opportunities so that every people that we have in every nation here in the Philippines will enjoy them. So as in our constitution, the civil and the political rights are based on them. So legal duties limit their exercise to promote fairness in all ways, and responsibilities burden all with equity still on the account of these principles. Upon on researching, so I have seen this letter of Rizal to Del Pilar where he stated that he appealed to patriotism of Filipinos in order that we may give the Spanish nation a proof that we can rise above our misfortunes and that we can neither be corrupted nor have noble sentiments destroyed through vice by cause. Now, we will be tackling all about civil and political rights. So, civil and political rights are a class of rights that protect us individuals from infringement of government, social organization, and private individuals, and this also ensures one's ability to participate in the civil and political life of the society and state without discrimination or oppression. Political rights, so this is what we have. So we have the rights to say something or do something as long as this is not prohibited by the law. So political rights include natural justice or what we call procedural fairness in law. So these rights are includes right fair trial, due process, so the right to seek redress or a legal remedy. So the political rights also includes a rights of participation in civil society and politics such as freedom of association, the right to assemble, the right to petition, the right of self-defense, and of course, the right to vote the people who we wanted to be elected on the government. Have is the civil rights. So this includes ensuring of people's physical and mental integrity, life, and also safety protection from discrimination on grounds such as race, gender, national origin, color, sexual orientation, ethnicity, religion, or disability, and individual rights such as privacy, the freedoms of thought and conscience, speech and expression, religion, the press, assembly, and also movement. So these political rights and civil rights are very important for us Filipinos to do whatever we want or to speak up the right and the truth for our country. Now, we have Mr. Eruel to discuss all about the examples of civil and political rights.
Right to vote. Suffrage may be exercised by all citizens of the Philippines, not otherwise disqualified by law, who are at least 18 years of age and who shall have resided in the Philippines for at least 1 year and in a place wherein they propose to vote for at least 6 months immediately preceding the election. Right to fair trial. Rights and obligations in a suit law. Everyone shall be entitled to fair and public hearing by a competent, independent, and impartial tribunal established by law. According to Article 14, then lists the minimum guarantees to which everyone charged with a criminal offense is entitled in full equality. Right to government services. Everyone has the right to take part in the government of this country, directly through freely chosen representatives and everyone has given right to equal access to public service in his country. Right to public education. According to Article 16, Section 1 of the 1987 Constitution, provides that the state shall protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all. Right to use public facilities and right to liberty and security of the person. We have a right to the security and privacy of our persons and our homes. The state shall respect and uphold our right to the privacy of communication, information, private transactions, and affairs. The state shall ensure our freedom of movement and liberty of vote. Right to equal protection before the law. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection by the laws. Right of freedom of assembly. Fundamental human rights are protected in Article 3, the Bill of Rights of the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines under Section 4. No law shall be passed abridging the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. Rights to be free from torture. Section 8. Freedom from torture and other cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment or punishment. An absolute right. Torture and other cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment or punishment as criminal acts shall apply to all circumstances. Right to freedom expression. The 1987 Constitution dictates in Article 3, Section 4 that no law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech, of expression, or the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. Freedom from discrimination, an act enforcing equality before the law and equal protection of the law without discrimination, and prohibiting discrimination on the basis of age, racial or ethnic origin, religious belief or activity, political inclination or conviction, social class, sex, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. Access to the judicial system. The 1987 Philippine Constitution mandates free access to the courts and quasi-judicial bodies and adequate legal assistance, and yet effective and relevant access to the justice system by the poor and marginalized continues to be aspiration. Participation in political life. Political participation includes a broad range of activities through which people develop and express their opinions on the world and how it is governed, and try to take part in the shape of the decisions that affect their lives. Freedom of religion. Section 5, Article 3 of the Constitution, which states the free exercise and enjoyment of religious profession and worship without discrimination or preference shall be forever be allowed. Access to information from official records, public records, and documents and papers pertaining to official acts, transactions, or decisions, to government research data use as basis for policy development. Right to private and family life. It covers things like your right to determine your sexual orientation, your lifestyle, and the way you look and dress. It also includes your right to control who sees and touches your body. For example, this means that public authorities cannot do things like leave you undressed in a PC ward or take a blood sample without your permission. Property rights. The owner has the right to enjoy and dispose of a thing without other limitations than those established by law. Article 435. No person shall be deprived of his property except by competent authority and for public use, and always upon payment of just compensation. Freedom of movement guarantees the liberty of travel, which shall not be impaired except in the interest of national security, public safety, or public health as may be provided by the law. The provision covers the right to travel both within and out of the country. Right to seek asylum. The Philippines is one of the few countries in the region to have acceded to the 1951 Refugee Convention and the 1967 Protocol. It has also enacted a national asylum procedure which is used to determine the refugee status of asylum seekers.
The propaganda movement encompassed the activities of a group of Filipinos who called for political reforms in their land in the late 19th century and produced books, leaflets, and newspaper articles to educate others about their goals and issues they were trying to solve. They were active approximately from 1880 to 1898 and especially between 1880 and 1895 before the Philippine Revolution began. Prominent members included Jose Rizal, author of novels No Limitangere and El Filibusterismo and essays, Graciano Lopez Jaina, publisher of La Solidaridad, the movement's principal organ, Marciano Ponce, the organization's secretary, and last is Marcelo H. Del Pilar. So specifically, the propagandists' aims were the following. First is reinstate the former representation of the Philippines in the Cortes Generales or Spanish Parliament. Second, rights for diocesan clergy to administer parishes or secularization, like for example, use secular or diocesan priest rather than clergy from a religious order. Third is equality of Spanish and Filipino and equal opportunity to enter government service. Fourth, Spanish citizenship to Filipinos wherein they will recognize the Philippines as a province of Spain or assimilation. The next one is abolish polo e-servicios or labor service and the bandala, that means forced sale of local products to the government. And last is recognition of basic freedoms of people in the Philippines. We also have here three main objectives of propaganda: the political, the moral, the civic. The political, it is for the independence or separation of the Philippines from Spain, wherein it will guarantee the right of an individual to have his or her rights and freedoms determined, protected, and implemented by an independent and impartial judge. Moral, good manners, hygiene, good morals, and rejection of religious fanaticism and weakness of character, wherein morality requires us to avoid doing bad things, again by definition. Hence, we all have a moral duty not to harm other living things. This moral duty exists objectively because harm exists objectively. Just as 1 plus 1 equals 2 is objectively true, so we should not harm other living things is objectively true. Last is civic, self-help and the defense of the poor and the oppressed, wherein it will help them to empower socially, economically, and through a mutual learning process by offering simple financial solutions.
I assure you that I have no desires to take part in conspiracies, which seems to be a very premature and risky. But if the governments drive us to the brink, that is to say, when no other hopes remains but seek our destructions in war, when the Filipinos would prefer to die rather than endure their misery and the longers, then I will also become a partisans of violent means. So the choice of peace of or reductions is in the hands of the Spain. So it is because it is a clear fact known to all that a 73 are patients, excessively patients, and peaceful mind, unfeeling, and etc. So, but everything ends in this life. There is nothing eternal in this world. And that refers also to our patience. As a student, we may contribute to increase the nation's literacy rate by educating more and more people. We can teach our maid, their kids, and others who wish to learn. And if all the youngsters take part in educating illiterate people around us, they can make a huge difference in our society.